Thank you for attending the Week of Kindness. Coming up next is another powerful, impactful, amazing speaker. Get your notepad out, get your pen. Let's get ready and enjoy. Welcome to the Week of Kindness, Lee. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks, Lisa.
Good. I'm glad. So you are the CEO founder of Gorilla Coaching. And
That's
that's
correct.
GUE, as in
Like the
like
military gorilla.
military. Yeah. That's a very interesting name, especially coming from a Canadian. That's rather, we we
Yeah,
consider you very peace loving. I'm sure you are.
we
Tell us
are.
a
Yeah.
little bit about yourself, Lee. Who is Lee Hodges, and how does Lee Hodges get here?
Yeah. So, first of all, gorilla coaching is just sort of a placeholder name that I came up with kind of spontaneously, really. But what really spurred me to use it more and extended the use of it was the fact that it's really about out of box thinking. It's about being able to
Mm.
do things in an alternative way that may not sort of go with the mainstream approaches to things. So that's why I use it.
I love
So
that.
yeah. Beyond that, I'm just a small business coach. I work with uh, owners and founders who have been in their businesses for a while. I'm usually working with people who are more established in their businesses,
Mhm.
and they've reached sort of a point in their business growth where they're starting to feel like their ability as an entrepreneur to manage the operations of their business is starting to slip out of their grasp. So I
Mm.
basically help them from an operational point of view to kind of get back on track and actually drive toward scaling or growing their business even further.
That is much needed. That is much
Yeah,
needed because I know that I experienced this time around for sure as an entrepreneur, and then recognized the other times I was an entrepreneur. What started happening was I'm working so much in my business and so hyper focused on this little task or that little task. Not that they weren't important, but it gets overwhelming and you just kind of
yes,
don't know what to do next, because especially if you come from a corporate structure where you're used to having, an HR team and a this team and a that team to do the things that now you payroll and
yeah,
accounting and all of these things, that now all of a sudden you're the corporation and there's not another department to handle it anymore. Like, what do you do? So this is wow, amazing. Now
yeah,
you wanted to talk today about the transformation mindset, right?
right,
From
right.
that solopreneur to thinking and operating like a CEO. That this is a topic after my own heart. What's the difference between a solopreneur and a CEO?
Well, I mean, you already know by the sound of it, so that's great. But to elaborate, I guess it's really about understanding the difference between how you operate a business when you start it up and
Hmm.
when you get it going and when you develop it as sort of an infant business, right? And
Hmm.
there's various stages to business growth that you can actually map out that have been mapped out
Hmm.
actually. And so the difference between that and actually operating a business that is continuing to grow and
Hmm.
continuing to scale, or maybe you're looking at scaling and growing your business operations, there's a shift, and I call it kind of a sweet spot shift, where the owner or founder has to change their behavior operating within the business, first of all as a person operating in the business, but then also changing the methodologies and the behaviors and the operating modes within the business in order to accommodate the growth and the scaling that business may be looking at. So I,
Hmm.
with my clients on going through what I call the 6 factors of basically transforming themselves from that CEO or from that solopreneur kind of mindset where, like you said, I'm doing everything myself. I'm the chief cook and bottle washer. I've got everything covered. I know everything about everything in this business. Moving away from that to actually moving toward a CEO mindset where you start to shift responsibilities and activities of the business away from you and into more of the operations of the business and to the people that you might have working with you on the business. So it's kind of like the old saying, I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not, but you have to move from working in the business to working on your business when you make that CEO shift.
And I guess I have a question in that people, when I'm sure you work with numbers and numbers and numbers of coaches, throughout time. The CEO mindset rather than solopreneur. Do you think that there's a time we start these with visions, right? We have this vision of this business that we want to do. And I feel like we just either lose sight of it or we lose the ability to construct it. Maybe that's what would you say is some of those big differences between that solopreneur mindset vision and the other?
Yeah. Well, as you know, being an entrepreneur yourself, I'm sure, there's a creative process that entrepreneurs are really good at. They're great with the idea, and I should include myself in this because I've owned small businesses, obviously. We're great with the ideas. We're great with sort of, the big concept that's going to, be the next big thing in the world. And we want to bring those forward. We want to make them real. What happens, though, is when a concept actually takes off and really starts to develop its own sort of entity, if you will, then that's where the entrepreneur mindset starts to slip a little bit. Because entrepreneurs are about the shiny things. I mean, for lack of a better phrase, we want to keep creating, we want to keep inventing, we want to keep innovating. And what happens is when an idea turns into a real business that starts to develop itself, we tend to lose interest in that, or we maintain sort of peripheral
Really?
interest.
Peripheral. Now I can't say it.
I don't know what's wrong. It's Monday. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. So why do you say that we lose interest? That's so intriguing to me. Why is that?
I think it's just sort of the way that entrepreneurs are bred. We care about the big picture in terms of the idea and the concept and sort of innovating that and perfecting it and bringing it into the world, birthing it into the world, if you will. But then after that, it's all about, and I'll break this down for you. It's about 5 things, essentially. Number one, it's about strategy of the business itself, the overall sort of where the business is going in the marketplace, what that looks like, how you're positioning in the marketplace, what your offering is. Then it's about goal planning. It's about, okay, what's my 1-year goal? What's my 2-year, my 3-year, my 5-year horizon goals? And then it's about what I call the 3 Ps of business operations. It's about business processes themselves. So everything from how you make payroll to how you go and develop your next product or your product line or your next SKU in your product line. Then it's about people. So as you know, if you want a business, you got to hire people to do it. We haven't perfected the idea of actually developing businesses that are people free yet.
They're trying.
I know, but not yet.
They're trying.
Yeah. And then it's about projects. It's about how do you manage the work and the workflows within the business.
Yeah.
So those three things: business processes, people, and projects.
Yeah.
Already the entrepreneurs, their eyes are rolling into the back of
Oh,
their head, and they're going,
literally,
"Oh
I
no."
did you see me just turn off, like, the minute you just started? And I'm good with that stuff, and I'm like, I can't." Like, I literally was like, "We're ready to
I
run."
already anticipate it. I don't even question it anymore. It just happens. It just happens. And that's why business owners hire me, is because, they know that their business is getting away from them, that the
Mhm,
wheels are flying off the machine because the
mhm,
business is too big for them to manage the whole operation. It's too
mhm,
big. So,
mhm,
but they don't know how to do it themselves. So that's why they hire me, because I'm the one
mhm,
that comes in and says, okay, you got to manage these people, you got to do this business process, and you got to manage this workflow, and you got to make sure that, all the nuts and bolts are fitting into the right holes.
mhm, mhm. And, I'm gonna put this next question up. Also, do you feel that you can't we end up in a space where we can't grow
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we don't have it?
You don't have the processes to do it. No, I know. I'll give you an example. I worked with a small business manufacturer. This would have been out in Vancouver back in the day. And they
Mhm.
were quite famous for the products that they put out. He
Mm.
started out with this small sort of um, journeyman kind of environment where he had a few people sitting around benches building their product by hand, one
Yeah,
by one.
yeah.
Then one day he thought, gosh, I want to make this business compete with all the big giants that are out there in my world, in my industry, in my marketplace. So what
Mhm.
did he do? Overnight, he went and bought a 40,000 square foot manufacturing facility for his products.
Wow.
Can you imagine the chaos that ensued?
Oh my
Like,
god.
no, literally, it was a nightmare for him, because he did not have any of the tools or the methods or the processes or even the people to be able to manage that kind of operation. He hadn't thought it through enough. He just knew that he wanted to make better products faster, with more efficiency and less cost and all that kind of stuff that people
Right,
do when they want to grow or scale their operations.
right,
So my job literally was to go and sit with him and say, okay, we got to take a step back here. We got to
right.
take a look at what is really needed if you're going to make this 40,000 square foot operation work.
Work. Absolutely. Oh gosh, I know I've done that too many times. If I could told you, oh, not the 40,000, but it feels like it, because I'm in the coaching and branding and that kind of business. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but I get a wild hair and a crazy idea. Hey, let's do this. I think this program, now it would be needed. It is needed in the marketplace. It's great idea and great opportunity. My
yeah,
poor team just is like, and when did you say you, and who's actually going to, and did you really? They know
yeah,
me by now, so they're so sweet. They just kind of, I think they
yeah,
just
yeah,
pat me and they say,
yeah,
"That's
yeah.
nice."
So I I totally understand where you're at, Lisa. I hear this. I have heard this story over and over again over the years. I've been doing this for 30 some odd years,
Wow.
and my experience in working with organizational design and the building of business operations, basically it drives me to to the point where I want to take the founder and I want to just kind of give them a little bit of a shake, not too much, just a little bit, but say to them, look, if I can give you some tools that
Yeah.
you would use, would you use them? And that's really where sort of the rubber hits the road in terms of whether or not they're going to succeed and continue to grow, to in answer to your question earlier.
Absolutely, I agree with you 150%. which
Yeah.
is the other thing that my poor team just is like, yeah, no. And I used to be the one that ran all the project management tools and all. Like, I was the one that told everybody else, we need these organizational tools in order for us to grow and thrive, in order for us to work together. And then
Yeah.
here I am on the other side going, I don't want to learn enough. I don't want to be constrained to. Oh, we could talk for forever.
Yeah.
Linda asks, hi, Lee, what tips would you recommend for an online spiritual mindset solopreneur? Great question, Linda.
Yeah. Uh, uh, the first questions that I would ask, hi, Linda, by the way, hi. The first questions I'd ask you, Linda, are how long have you been in business? How large are your operations in terms of revenue annually? And tell me about your biggest sort of pain points in terms of what you're referring to and looking for tips on. To give general tips, that's easy enough. You can go to Google to do that. But really, if you want to know tips that work for your operation, I kind of need to know a little bit more information. So my first question is, where are you spending your time, Linda? Where are you focusing your efforts in the business? There's a set of 4 or 5 questions that I usually ask owner operators when I first begin to work with them. The first question is, develop, or if you haven't already, develop a role and responsibility sort of profile for your role. I'm interested to know where you spend your time. And the things that I like to know are, number one, what things do you like to do as the CEO or the owner of your business? Number two, what things are you good at doing in the business? And number three, what things do you have time to do? And number four, what things are you doing that are actually crucial to the business?
Mm.
And the fourth question actually should determine where the other 3 questions, what the answer is to the other 3 questions. So if you can answer those questions, Linda, then you're probably on a good start to what I would call recognizing where you need to be working in terms of either in the business or versus on the business.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good.
Does that make sense? I hope it does.
Yeah, it does. No, those good leading, like that's good thought provoking questions to get real with yourself.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, we have to do that. Okay, so you call this a transformation mindset, and why I love that word. That's one of my favorite words in the English language. Why
Mhm.
do you call this what is beyond the obvious? Because there's obvious things about being from solo to CEO.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you really mean by that transformation?
Well, I mean, the business is yours still. At the end of the day, you are the owner, you are the founder of the business. So whatever you do impacts the business directly.
Mm-hmm.
Not only what you do at a professional level in terms of, what you're doing in the business, but
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing personally in
Mm-hmm.
your own life as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Are you raising a family? Are you moving across the country? Are you struggling with personal tragedy, maybe? Or maybe you're just struggling with the whole aspect that life brings to you at times.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, there is potential areas of learning,
Mm-hmm.
and there are potential blocks that are holding you back from being the most effective owner and founder of your business that you can be. So the transformation really comes starting with you as a person. So one of the first things I want to do, my actual reason to be, if you will, in the world is to help leaders be able to grow and develop themselves so that they can then contribute back to the world in a way that makes the world a better place for all of
Yeah.
us. So, and that's actually, by the way, I loved this summit because it's
Mm-hmm.
all about kindness and gratitude. It's all about being grateful for what we have, and recognizing that we're here, and we want to contribute to the rest of humanity in a way that you know that makes us better as
Mm-hmm.
a race, as a human species.
Absolutely.
So the transformation is really at a root personal level to begin with, but then we get into more of, okay, what are you doing practically? What are you doing day to day that's actually contributing to the growth of your business instead of holding it back? And
Right.
this is where you hear the phrase, well, you've got to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And really, that's what it is for entrepreneurs. It's being able to say, okay, I grew the idea, I had the idea, I grew it,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's kind of taking on a life of its own in the form of this business that I've got.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get out of the way of this so that it can actually continue to grow in an effective and a productive and a contributing sort of way? And so that's where the transformation occurs. It's the mindset of moving from, I'm just a solopreneur who's got an idea,
Yeah.
moving from that mindset to, oh my gosh, I've got, uh, a 7-figure business per year. I've got 50 or 100 employees that now rely on me to give them their sustenance, their income. Uh, and I've got this business operation that's growing beyond my ability to control it personally. So what do I
Mm.
need to do?
Right. Do you feel that you can hit that mark? I know that's a round number. That's just a number, right? You were saying the 50 employees.
Yeah,
Because
oh
I
yeah,
will tell you that, well, I'm not going to tell you. I feel that I kind of was beginning, and sometimes, if I'm going to be transparent, sometimes I'm not sure that I actually am at the helm in the way that I should be. Like that, it does concern me because I have a team of 6, and so it's not just me,
yeah,
and so
yeah,
you just it that I feel like we're not, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we don't want to be transparent and honest enough just to be able to say, I think I need some help. And it's okay to need some help. It's all right.
yeah. It is. It
Yeah.
really is. I think you've nailed it there, Lisa. So the thing about entrepreneurs is we started this idea without help, usually.
Yes.
We started this idea on our own. We're used to dealing with things on our own. We're used to kind of, being very resourceful,
Yeah.
being very creative, and being able to bring the idea into the real world and make it something that's actually, participating in the rest of the energy of the world.
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
and so that's part of the transformation, is recognizing, in fact, one of the key things that I do with my clients is say, okay, what are you doing to actually make decisions in a way that's effective, based on the fact that you've got other people involved in your organization now, that
Yes.
probably have more information than you do on that particular decision. you know so
What?
rather than showing up one day in the coffee room and saying, this is what we're doing,
Yeah.
we're
That's me. And it's a great idea, but that's me. And then do you run across the solo slash trying to get to CEO person that's like, I have to know how every piece of software, webware, whatever
yeah,
works in my business just in case someone leaves? Have you
yeah,
ever, like, I'm
yeah.
sure I'm probably the only one. I'm just, it's just,
No, 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 you're not the only one at all. That So what it comes down to is, and this relates to that, like knowing everything, having, believing you have to know everything about everything in the business. as well as how you relate. It comes down to how you relate to the people in your business, and even your vendors and your suppliers,
Mm.
distributors, anybody else that are business partners with you.
Mhm.
Um, it comes down to one word: trust.
I knew you were
Trust,
gonna
trust, trust.
say
So
that.
we as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, do not trust. And it's not because we're not trusting individuals as
Yeah.
people. We just, this is our baby. This
Yeah.
is our idea. This is our, this is our passion project. This is our legacy to the world, if you will. You don't want, I don't want to trust it to just anyone. I don't want to
Right.
just hand it over and say, you know, can you just, run this for me?
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
So that's part of the transformation as well. So the
That's
transformation, as you're seeing, it's like, and it's, the proverbial many layered sort of transformation that's taking place.
yeah.
And with a solopreneur to CEO mindset, CEOs don't do everything on their own. They
No.
do not run all aspects of the business directly. They
Mm-mm.
hire people to do that, and then they manage those people.
Yes.
So this is about moving toward that kind of mindset. And that is a very, uh, it can be a very difficult thing, but it's certainly a challenging thing, if nothing else, to most entrepreneurs.
Yes. And rewarding though. Like you'll never be the same. Um,
No, yeah.
I've got to put this, I had to put this up. I couldn't hold it any longer. So Lee has an extremely generous offer to us solo, quasi solo, trying to get out of being solo. Preneurs. Lee, can you tell us about the gift that you have for us today?
Sure. So what I will do is basically offer anyone who wants to sign up for a scheduled meeting with me. It'll be a 1 hour meeting. I will do a free 1 hour strategy session with you on your business. So I'm eager to find out about what you're doing in your business, where you see your pain points, and then I'm most eager to be able to offer you some actual practical hands-on solutions that you can use right away in your business. So if you sign up for the free 1 hour session, we can get together and based on my calendar and your availability, and we'll look at your business and maybe come up with some solutions.
That is amazing, guys. When you're watching this, watching the replay and all that, when we have the opportunity to get an hour of someone's time that has been in this space and done this work for 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
that is priceless. That is priceless.
Yeah, thank
Lee,
you.
I'm sure you've seen it all, you've heard it all. That's why you're just so calm too. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I do that to my team. And you're just like, yeah, I know. It's
Oh,
okay.
I know.
I've seen it all. That is amazing. Well, Lee, this has been enlightening and helpful and transformational. It's good to know for me that it's okay, right?
You're
It's
not
okay.
alone. You're not alone. No.
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything you'd like to leave our solopreneurs that are heading on over there to becoming CEOs? Anything you'd like to leave us with today?
Uh, the only thing I would say is you are not alone. This is not something that is unique in the sense that there has never been anyone else that has ever gone through this. That's far
Mhm.
from the case.
Mhm.
Through my 30 years, I have seen, mm, I've lost count of the number of people I have seen who've gone through this process. So I want to just encourage you to reach out, because really ultimately that is the next step for anyone who finds himself in this situation where your business is growing and you're finding that you're being overwhelmed. You feel like you've lost control. or you feel like you don't know what you're doing when it comes to actually the next steps in that business transformation process. Maybe you've got a plan, that's great, but maybe you just don't know how to execute on that plan. A
Yeah.
lot of entrepreneurs know what they want and they know what their product can do out in the marketplace.
Yeah.
But getting to that point where they're actually able to scale their operations is really, that's where the tires really grip the road when it
Yes.
comes to making it real and making it successful. So all
Yeah.
I want to say is don't be afraid to reach out. Believe it or not, most of my clients are women, which I attribute anecdotally to the fact that I think women are more used to asking for help than men are in life in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to speak to the women, but I also want to say to the men and to anyone else out there that identifies as a man that seems to, have a problem reaching out to people, reach out.
There's no harm in it. There's no shame
Absolutely.
in it at all. No shame. My gosh, Lee, thank you so very much. You guys, please don't hesitate to click on the link that's going to get you to the page that allow you to book an hour with Lee. It will transform your business and transform your life, honestly. I'm just so grateful for you being here during the Week of Kindness Summit. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I am so grateful to be here. So thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate it. And
Awesome.
good luck to everybody out there. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week.
Yes, awesome. Yes. Thank you so much. All right, gang. Wow. I hope you enjoyed that just as much as I did. Thank you so much for all of that great information. Hey, we're not done yet, so just relax. We're going to continue on with our next speaker in just a few moments.